Hello and good evening and welcome and welcome and welcome again. Hi, I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas
April Cobb with April's Beauty Bar, and we are diversity
and Equity.
and education. How y'all doing this evening
Good
with this
evening.
new time change, though?
Correct. And we are hosted by.
The wonderful, fantastic teacher for the culture with Bianca Goolsby.
Thank you. Hey, for real, how are you doing with the time change?
I'm sleepy. I'm real sleepy. So
I'm
it's
tired
like
too.
weird because I'm like, I'm gonna lay across the bed for like 30 minutes. And I said, if I don't get up now, they're gonna be calling saying, where you at though?
It's a done deal. I woke up.
Right.
Fortunately, my alarms were, my phone was set, but I forgot to set everything else in the house. So when I got that down to the kitchen, I said, well, what am I? It's an hour. Why is the sun up? Just random things to throw you off. So I had to go around and reset stuff. So yes, that threw me off a little bit. And the last thing, honestly, any of us needed was an extra hour in 2020. But okay. All right.
Right. I wanted them to take a few away. Don't give us no more.
More.
Take it
Just
away like Calgon. Take me away.
like I don't need no more of 2020. Okay, so it just okay. Anyway, parents and grandparents and everybody that's out there, just understand we have officially started the second quarter. We are now one full week into the second quarter. And how was your first week in the second quarter, April? What has changed since quarter one?
What has changed is that for some reason, there are students that I've never seen before. They have showed up in my e-learning sessions, even the Zooms. And it is quite refreshing to see that unfortunately a grade record to demonstrate their lack of progress, meaning that they earned an a D or F. It made them come forth and say, I am a part of your class and I will be showing up and trying to do the work this quarter because, yeah, it was very interesting. Kids I have not seen since day one. I know they're there because it was verified that they're still participating in e-learning, but they just never showed up for a session. They would do a couple assignments sparingly throughout the coursework in Canvas, but not enough to demonstrate their progress. Not enough. It demonstrated a lack of progress. Remember, teachers
Correct.
don't give grades. It's a demonstration of the child's progress or lack of progress.
Correct, exactly. And that's one of my favorite lines right there. Is that yeah, I don't give grades. I just record your lack of progress. That's all I really do. But I mean, you're absolutely correct because I that phone call, that message, that email, whatever it is that went out that let you know that you have truly failed the first quarter, it certainly did spring on a wealth of people to pop up now in the second quarter. Like what? We were actually having class. I mean, and then also it revealed a whole lot because some kids who were fighting tooth and nail and telling their parents I was doing my work and she lying on me and I don't understand that. And then when you actually finally arrived to the Zoom class and realized that we actually had full lessons, we were doing work. Now you're saying, well, how do I log into something? Hold on one second. Break pause. You remember when Scooby Doo would come in and like that? Okay, hold on.
Row.
How, yeah. How you didn't even know how to get into the program because you were apparently doing some coursework, but you're asking me questions that went back 9 weeks ago. Like, how do I even log into a program? Then who was doing your work, sir, ma'am? Who?
That's some legs there, legs. Who been
Legs.
doing the
Who
work?
been doing your work?
Who's been
Legs.
doing the work?
Take flight.
Because I bet the parent wanted to beat them to a belligerent
Yes. Take
because
flight.
you didn't blew our cover that I've
Listen.
been doing the work or your sister and them been doing the work, but you
What
clearly don't know how to
have not
find the
done?
work.
When you ask a question in front of, I mean, and you know, those kids are Zoom savvy, so they'll actually like have all those little expressions and stuff pop up on the screen and stuff. When you ask a question like, how do you even log into but sir, ma'am, you, according to the data, it looked like you were working on a program. So who was actually logging in? Because that's a day one, question. Like, okay, where do I go to find? That's day one, not week 10 and a half.
So the question becomes, who do I need to add to the roster in order
Who?
to accurately record their progress or the lack of progress?
Like the owl said, who?
Who?
Who? But I guarantee you, this 9 weeks, you will be doing the work because now you've told me and the entire class that okay, I might need to figure out how to be in. So parents, please know. So what we have, but one thing I did notice is this. I did notice that I have about 6 or 7 names that have dropped off my e-learning roster. They are now being physically re-enrolled in school. So I'm not sure, like April, how is your on your end? Are you seeing an increase in brick and mortar or a reduction in online? What is going on?
It's an increase in brick and mortar. However, being that we are limited on the number of fuse classes that we can have in place, that my students are coming back from e-learning, but they're not being registered to me because my classes that are brick and mortar are at capacity already. So they're going to the teacher that had less numbers because that teacher teaches gifted and honors. So their classrooms are much smaller. Like one of her classes is like 6 students.
Wow.
Right. One of her classes is 11 students. And then there's the fuse class that's bursting at the seams. But what I do know is that we're not going to have my classroom bursting at the seams when there's numbers like 6 and 11 next door. Nah.
Right.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
they get going right on in that classroom, and we have to do something called differentiated instruction, which we have been taught to do because we're not going to run minds over. We add
Correct.
no more desks. No more desks.
Correct.
No
Correct.
more
Because
desks.
that right there, no, that just makes no sense. I mean, and then on top of that, not only just being unfair to the teacher, it's also just it's a real burden. It's a real burden, and it's going to be stressful for the students because the students can't learn well in an environment where they are overrun, especially. And you're talking about core subjects, reading and your math. These are subjects that you need. A lot of them need individualized attention. So for you to say I'm going to pack a class up to where like I've actually noticed 2 desks and tables and chairs have been moved around to try and accommodate. We shouldn't be at the point where we're trying to accommodate like that. We should be like, look, let's try to get it so it's feasible. But of course, budgets cause teachers to be gone, which cause the rest of us to be picking up extra work because this looks like extra salary when you start picking up extra work and extra, you know.
Speaking of such,
Mm-hmm,
so there are hypotheticals that are out there and probably strong allegations
mm-hmm.
that the many teachers that were placed in the pool, there were not enough positions in Hillsborough County for them to place those teachers in. So a lot of those teachers were sent back to their schools after their classes had been collapsed and dispersed or whatever it may be. So now they're on campuses looking around like, what I'm supposed to do?
Mm.
What what we doing?
Right.
So if we planned as though we said we had planned, shouldn't those numbers have aligned up? And let's take a step back out of the current and think about the mental state of these teachers that's being just constantly traumatized by this
Right.
experience where all they want to do is teach. They don't know when they was going to the pool, who was going to the pool at one point. Maybe I'm going to the pool, or I was told that my job was secure. They're not making cuts here. Well, now I'm at the pool. There's no more jobs, and I'm told to go back to my school. Imagine what their minds are like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if we did that to doctors and lawyers. I mean,
Well,
aren't our jobs just as important what we do, our roles?
we wouldn't do that to doctors and lawyers because they have more value than teachers.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I forgot. I forgot.
No. Mm.
I forgot.
But teaching is the profession in which all other professions come from. But I mean, of
Are
course,
created, yes, but
right,
we
right.
forget.
We forget, and sort of like, and we can segue right into this. Sort of like some people don't believe there's such a thing as pipeline to prison. Legs.
We are taken back by the
Whew.
fact that we have Black males in leadership here in our district that do not believe in the school to prison pipeline. And then while we were in our community today,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
where we actually live, and not driving over into the city from Ruskin, Riverview, you know,
Valrico,
Lutz,
places like that.
Wesley
Hmm.
Chapel, where we actually
Right.
reside in.
Right.
We were having a discussion with a gentleman. We won't go into names because individuals get very
Touchy.
caught up in the of what they've said, and then be able to acknowledge, I heard you and I'm just repeating what you said. But
Hmm.
anyway, the gentleman, said that he didn't believe in school to prison pipeline either. And he went on to say that his belief system, and we can't get mad at him because of it. It is what it is. We don't understand it, and then maybe it's not for me to understand. It won't change the work for Sunshine Education Coalition. But he indicated that it's all parent. It should be parent to prison pipeline, because it's the lack of parenting is what creates that funnel into the school prisons. I'm saying to the prisons. And we said, but how does that correlate with the fact that we have such high numbers for our Black boys being suspended disproportionately? And his response was it still was because of the lack of parenting. Because when I sent my kids to school, these are his words, when I sent my kids to school, they knew that it wasn't a place for, fooling around or creating problems. It was for education and education only. And they shared that they, had two kids that were lawyers, blah, 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 two-parent household, and so on and so forth. So it's at that moment when I realized the conversation was not going to change, I walked away because I just couldn't believe it that
Hmm.
that Black men don't believe that school plays a pivotal role in that four-step process into school to prison pipeline. I'm lost. And for those that are here on the chat, let's speak really quickly to them. You got
Hmm.
Gretchen. Hey, Gretchen, how are you? I can't see the other ones because they must not be my friends. Becky, hello, how
Let me
are
see.
you? But yeah, like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, school to prison pipeline is acknowledged nationwide. Like, how do
Hmm.
we become the anomaly as a Black male to say that you don't believe in it as if it doesn't exist based on the data?
Right, because exactly, like let's start off with the data alone. You can go to ACLU, you can go to just a variety of your websites, and it exists. It exists. It gives you a full functional definition of exactly what it is. And if you're saying it's parenting, okay, well, good. You are blessed and fortunate to have that type of parenting. I could even sit here and tell you I was fortunate and blessed to have that kind of parenting because I come from a two-parent household as well. But it doesn't negate the fact that I still see what's happening in the community. I did not get to a point where, okay, I've made it, and now I no longer care about what happens in the community. It's all on them. God bless them. I hope they do all right. Because let me just get real to scripture real quick. Because God, Jesus did tell us the poor will always be among us, and it's our duty and our role to help. So if we're sitting there saying one of our duties as just people we're supposed to help each other. We're supposed to lift each other up. We're not supposed to look at each other and just walk away and say, well, I hope that you'll be all right. Care for a person's spirit first begins with the body. You want to take care of the outside, all the things, the physical things that they need first. Then you work on within and changing the heart. So let's look at a situation. Well, okay, well, it's a parent's role. What if that parent worked 4 jobs just to feed that child? That parent is struggling. So that parent can't be constantly thinking about the roof over the head. And then on top of that, say, especially if they're a single parent with additional children, now I got to deal with the discipline too. I mean, you got to say, okay, you know what? You're blessed. You're situated. Now, back in the day, that might have been everybody's household. But today, going into 2020, it's flipped. The statistical number, the data has flipped to where the average household now is single parent household. That the two-parent household is the anomaly now. That's what it is. So now that we know this, but of course, it's not going through life with blinders, actually seeing the big picture and saying, hey, you know what? Let me help. But helping Black people, especially Black people that have made it, helping is not just going into an all white neighborhood to show white kids that Black people can be successful, but it's also going into the Black neighborhoods where the socioeconomic difference is, the gap is wide. and you're showing your own people that they can be successful. Because when remember, we work around kids who don't believe that people can be doctors and lawyers. Okay, you're going to neighborhoods where they know that black people can be doctors and lawyers. These neighborhoods don't. The kids don't believe that. So bring that wealth of knowledge and that information to the district that we in, which is, by the way, District 5. Let me put the fingers up real quick. That's where it needs to be, right here. So that you can give our children hope. Our children a fighting chance. Our children need to see us like that. And we need the men. And I'm going to tell you how over and over again, we need the men. We need the who? Men. Because women have led the charge over and over and over. We, as women, we tired of carrying everything. Let's be real. We tired. It's exhausting being women carrying an entire crusade. And then you have to fight against men who don't believe it exists. But I'm gonna stop before my blood pressure get high.
I mean, needless to say, like Teacher for the Culture added that there are some that once they reach a level of privilege, people tend to forget the reality of others.
Mm-hmm.
And to say that they came from a community that it was predominantly black in the days. They were on the privy side of the road, for the better choice of description, from
Right.
West Tampa. So I will say this. I don't know how school can't be a part of the equation, a system that was designed in through research and through statistics to not be that beneficial to the black child in comparison to their counterparts. Let's just be honest. But hey, we digress. We move on, and Sunshine Education Coalition will continue.
Exactly. We certainly will. Because I mean, and you know, just to throw up just a little bit of data at you. I mean, if you every child that you encounter has a white teacher, and that has no culturally, they're not culturally relevant to them. They're biased. And look at the society we live in right now. We got a bunch of them in front of them that are Trump supporters. Let's just be real. Call them out. And they sit in a class full of black children. And then you want to know why the black children got so many referrals. They get written up for so many different discipline issues. Things like chewing some gum, singing out loud, you know, just raising their hand when they weren't supposed to. Oh no, now you're being disrespectful. Hold on one second. That's where the cultural competency comes in. A lot of them don't understand our culture. We loud. I'm from the Caribbean. And let's be real, our Hispanic brothers and sisters, we're gonna be loud. But to somebody else, it's gonna seem like you having a full-fledged fight. But see, down now all of a sudden the kid getting referrals. And you're thinking that that's not a part of the school to prison pipeline. The child is getting referrals from where? School. Now the resource officer doesn't see them 15 times. Now they got a book of discipline referrals this big. Now, by the time they get onto the community, they've got a record. Now, remember, now if you want to say the parent is not part of the equation, the parent is part of the equation. I don't know where was the parent. Was the parent writing the referrals? Because the parent wasn't in school picking up the child out of the class. The parent ain't the resource officer. The parent sure ain't the counselor. The parent ain't the psychiatrist. The parent isn't any of those people. So how is it it's only a parent situation when all that's what I just mentioned happens in school?
And by looking at the gentleman's age, he would have been in that era where the words had more emphasis due to it was actually application back then. We implemented it takes a village. I think he may have forgotten about that.
Right.
Because it was expected in the schoolhouse that the child was to govern themselves accordingly. But that's because their parents, in most cases, were not traumatized by the same school system that their children are going to, that they didn't know how to, advocate for themselves during their learning and also just be a student, just be a student that wanted to do well. So it was an interesting conversation. It was brief and there was some chaos going on in the backdrops that Denise and I didn't even know was going on. Like, that doggone, oh, what happened? Like, what happened? We didn't even know it was happening. Like, it be drunk. Listen, let me be honest. If it does not have an impact on what my overall purpose for doing something at the time, which today was to visit the poll, just to do a little stroll, just kind of just see what's going on. Look, be nosy. That's all it was. Because we had already voted, but it was good to come out and be a part of those to the polls. But again, like, I think it's very easy to get in touch with myself, Denise,
Mm-hmm.
Anisha, Bianca. I mean, everybody knows how to, I mean, we know how to
Right.
get in touch with each other. I do know that my views are indifferent than Denise's,
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. Our Bianca's views are indifferent than ours. But we will say this: there are many things that we have in similar thought when it comes to our views. There are many, probably more than none.
Mm-hmm.
But don't misconstrue the fact that our overall purpose has been, will continue to be about children.
Children. Mm-hmm.
So I
Yep.
don't know what to tell you. So with the little situation that went on today that we was told about it after we got in the car, we didn't even know what was happening. So we just
You
gonna
know,
buzz on by that. If you got an
yeah.
issue, guys, give us a call. Y'all got our
Right.
numbers, emails.
Look,
Y'all. I mean, at this point, it stop. Just be. Let's just all be grown in this. No,
right.
November 3rd can't get here quick enough and get
Ooh,
gone.
child.
I just want to see all the yelping, the advocacy, the concern. I want to see all of that continue for whomever the winner is, the successor is. Because if you are about children, isn't that what you're supposed to do anyway?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
there's many
A-
things I don't agree with number 45, but you're not going to see me get into full blown out conversations about it because that wastes my time and energy because the discussion that I'm going to have about it, it's not going to change anything. But what I
Mm-hmm.
do know how to do is exercise my vote, share with my thoughts and processes with facts with my friends and family, and hopefully they make the best decision for themselves. That's all I
Mm-hmm.
can do. But
Correct.
don't get hung up on the part about there are facts to support it. Argue with the facts. Don't argue with the people that's bringing forth the facts.
That, but you know what? That is so true. And you know what I thank God for? I thank God for the fact that I truly, I'm truly oblivious to a whole lot of stuff. Things happen around me, and I'm so focused on my mission or my goal that things that are taking place around me. I mean, whether it's a good thing or bad thing. I mean, because I do have situational awareness, but I think what it is that when the things around me are nonsense, I just block it out. That's just how I operate. But let me tell you something. Be very clear. We have now passed. We've gotten. I think we're at that actual point where we're now. The polls are closed, and we're just hoping and praying that you all have.
No, they have
You know,
actually six more
what they have
minutes.
7 minutes. Okay,
Six
six
more
minutes.
minutes.
And if you can make it, go ahead and make it. We just want for you all to vote and just understand something as just people of color.
Hold on, Denise. So we
Go
got
ahead.
Emily saying that she
Oh,
just went
go
to
ahead.
to get voting stickers from the Plant City Library,
Hmm.
and the line is around the block.
Wow.
Emily, please tell us how and why. The
Wow.
poll's been open all day. Is there only one precinct in Plant City that was open today for early voting? We need some exclamation, not
Right.
explanation, exclamation.
Right.
Help us, because that's not making any sense. Can you elaborate, Emily?
Because we want to know and remember because this is to right now it's like life or death. It's like basically this election is good versus evil. It really is good versus evil because you're seeing some of the most corrupt, evil, I mean, things coming out of there to where it's truly going to affect us as people of color. Because you're talking about, can you imagine if we had to deal with 4 more years of this? It's already bad enough that many of the things that happened during the prior president is now being rolled back. All the protections that are there, the Medicare that you got, all the things are being rolled back, and this is not good. We're trying to create a middle class. We're trying to go. Remember back in the 80s, we had a middle class. You don't have that anymore. We just have stages of poor. Your poor may look a little bit different from my poor, but let's be real. Let's not even pretend. We all poor. Okay. It just could be I manage my poor a little better. I'm able to save my poor a little better, but there is really no realistic middle class. We used to have a middle class. We don't. And the rich are getting richer. If you're not understanding how the billionaires are becoming even in a pandemic, people who already had $1 billion are making 3 billion. In a pandemic, people are getting laid off. People are not having food. People are not having money, and the rich still want to make it so. So It is not. It's not about, to me, it ain't even about Democrat and Republican anymore. It's about good versus evil. Because if you could sit there and be comfortable with the evil these people trying to bring forth, I don't know what else to tell you, Joe. I would just continue to pray for you. That's it.
And during our experience today at Souls to the Polls, and I don't get into the Republican Democrat, I don't get in the back
Mm-hmm.
and forth. I just try to listen to people's perspective and point of views. So with that being said, there was three women there, actually four women there.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them were Hispanic, one was Caucasian, and one was Black. And they all had signs that were Latino for Trump and blacks for Trump. Now, I have no problem with the individual want to exercise their right to vote for Trump. But I just become very perplexed by the fact that the open display of disrespect to the Black community, the African American culture, and even Hispanics. And I don't like to use the word Hispanic to clump everybody in together, because Denise have explained to me that there are some Hispanics that believe that they characterize themselves as white, and there are
Mm-hmm.
some Hispanics which predominantly are, you said, Mexicans. They more
Yes.
so,
Mm-hmm.
are more acceptance political wise with being identified as Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
I do know that we know, as a collective body of people that has not been under a rock, that they had Hispanic children in cages underneath the direct, like Trump made that happen. That there's no other words for it. And I'm just trying to figure out, when did it become okay to cage up children? They're innocent. They didn't ask to be even on this earth. They cannot even acquire a job in the US. Let me add that. In the US, to be able to earn a wage in order to provide food and shelter for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then when comments are made that says, we want you to denounce a group of people that are associated with racial, just racism. And for number 45 to say, I would ask them to stand back, but stand by. And you think it's okay
Hmm.
that you hold signs to say Latinas for Trump and blacks for Trump, when this man literally has just slaughtered us as a people? Like, we're just low class citizens. We're
Mm-hmm.
on a different tier. What they say, the hierarchy of I'm just, I get lost for words. And the woman that did take a moment to talk to us, or to them, because I was on the sideline looking,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was listening.
she made biblical reference
That's scary.
to her belief as to why. I think she made the statement that Trump is a gift from God. He's God sent because he's going to do more for the poor people.
Mm-mm-mm. That's
But you
brainwashing
look
of the
like
highest
me.
caliber. That's brainwashing
You
of the highest caliber. Mm-hmm. That's
you
exactly
look
what that
like
is.
me. What?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm concerned about people because this is what it is. The reason why he's so successful with such race tactics and race baiting and white supremacists is because they're uneducated. It's very easily to amass a following amongst uneducated people. It's sort of like on the radio we listened the other day where a person was saying, I wish Obama had done more for the black people. Well, guess what? You're uneducated because if you did understand anything about how government works, which is basically middle school, civics, U.S. history, all the stuff like that, you would understand that the president, whatever political party the president is, you also have the Congress and the Senate, and you have all of that. If they're different political parties, it's going to be hard to push things through Congress. No one person does this by themselves. So,
Well,
you know,
it used to be that way. Hold on, it
right,
used to
right.
be that
It used
way.
to be that way. That's true. But of course, if your Senate is with you, if you have all Democratic Senate and all Democratic Congress, and your president is Democratic, well, a lot of things going to get done. But if you're a Democratic president and your Congress and your Senate is totally on the opposite team, you're lucky you will get a few things done. So it's like people keep complaining. So they're like one issue ticket. That's basically what it is. Well, my one issue is abortion, so that's why I'm going to vote for him. Or my one issue is that he is with the evangelical Christians. I'm with him, but he even making
Oh,
Christianity
and
look
she
bad.
also
So
made statement that Trump is not for gay marriages. And I'm like,
mhm.
but you weren't you having your family members host events for gay? I'm so
it,
confused.
but it's what bothers me is that I am. I can't understand a lot. No, or like the one guy who was, of course, committing all this fraud. Oh, he made it easier for us to commit fraud. It's easier for us to get more food stamp and get more COVID loans and get more small business loans. We able to commit fraud easier. That's your reason for voting for this dude. That's why you like him. It's like these stupid rappers who get on TV and say, "Oh, okay, I'm voting for him because he won't cut my taxes." But let me tell you one thing about having some influence. If you have a person's ear, if you're able to get a large group of people to listen to you, you got two choices: either say the right thing or shut your mouth. That's the two choices you have.
Shut your mouth.
Say the right or close your mouth. Them close them. Okay, because people are listening to him or listening to Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, or whoever them idiots are, listening to them and thinking that they are in the same tax bracket. Let me tell you something. In this zip code, anywhere between 33602 and 33610, play ain't nobody up in here making
One nine, one
$400,000.
seven, oh, to all of
But thank you. Yeah, so for you to sit there and believe that you in the same tax bracket as 50 Cent, you making 50 cents. Sit down, legs.
you making 50 cents.
Take flight. What? Where you getting that from? Start to pay. Let me tell you something. What my father used to say, the best way to hide information from black people is to put it inside a book. Put it in a book. You, listen, I can have $1 million in this house hidden in books. Nobody would be, they want to go for the flat screen TV.
Right.
That's the first thing they're going for. The flat screen. Player. All the wealth in the world is inside of a book. Because nobody can't take it out your head. Educate yourself, man. Y'all making decisions based on one thing that somebody said, and that person been drinking lean for years. You know he ain't right in the damn head, sipping on perp
Right.
all this time, sipping on perp all these. Have you seen that boy face? Looking like the Wicked Witch of the West. Stop
I'm
it.
done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm
Lil
done.
Wayne that went blonde and everything. Oh God, I can't. I just, but this ain't who you should be listening to, okay? Because he's outside of your tax bracket, and if you making that kind of money, and you haven't put it on your taxes, then it's illegal. So you can't even claim it either. So please, 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 please make wise choices. Young people make wise choices. Young people understand, and young people, I can't tell you how much I'm gonna express this to you. The reason why, if you go to court and you sitting and you trying to figure out why the jury, your peers don't look nothing like you, is because you never voted. Because they pull jurors from the voting pool. So if you don't vote, you don't get the jury that look like you. If I gotta go before judge, whatever his name is, I want at least 50% of the jury to look like me.
Not gonna happen.
Well, being hypothetical, but I'm saying, can I get like four, like in a pot of rice? You want at least 4 peas in a pot of rice? Can I get them 4 peas
Yeah,
in the
man.
rice? Then 4 peas in the rice. Lord of mercy.
It's exhausted. Like I said, I just can't wish for. I just when November 3rd at 11:59 hit, I think some of us will be able to breathe again. You would
I,
have acquired all the dollars that you needed in your life in order to feel as though you were a instrumental part in the election process for what we call 2020, the killer year.
yes, exactly. It is the kill of the year, and I'm tired. One thing I'm tired of is just for tired of political cartoons. I mean, the cartoons, the commercials, and all the stuff like that. It's exhausting. You have to decompress or de-stress yourself from the TV. It's like tonight I'm gonna watch anything else other than the news tonight because you're just overwhelmed. And then on top of that, COVID, because Dr. Fauci, my favorite doctor, has already said we're going to be prepared for one of the worst. worst seasons that's coming up because the flu season is coming. It's coming right now. And if we are not trying to protect ourselves with masks and do all the things that we're supposed to do, forget the fact that it's political or everybody and their feelings. Oh, nobody can't tell me to wear a mask. It's all about health right now. Do you realize our numbers are dropping significantly? They say that even when the next census come around, we're going to be short. Our population is going to take a monstrous dip when the next census comes up. That's how many people will have died. Really? This is it. If, wrap your head around how horrible that sounds. That it'll affect the population of the United States. I hope y'all understand what it means. It was in the post office just Saturday, and I do this and they're just screaming and yelling because he didn't want to wear a mask, and everybody in the line like, dude, just put it on. I mean, it ain't that hard. It's not that bad. Just put it on. That's all we want. We all just want to be safe. Everybody want to be safe. And he cussing and carrying on. I had to put my stamp on the letter, dropped it off, and I dipped out. I was like, look, I can't even be in here with this level of ignorance. I can't even do it. I cannot be here with this level. I can't. And it's scary and it's sad. And I can only imagine what's going to happen when we go on break. Because remember, the two big breaks are coming up. We got the Thanksgiving break and we got Christmas holiday. So one is 1 week here in Hillsborough County, the other one is 2 full weeks. What's it going to look like come January? The middle of cold and flu season.
And that's when kids are supposed to be returning. Everybody.
I can't hear you.
Everybody's supposed to be returning then.
We still have an audio.
Y'all can't hear me?
Uh-oh.
You can't hear
still
me?
Have an audio issue? Can't hear you. You want to pop out? I got you. Pop out. Pop back in.
No, it's you, ma'am.
It's me? Let's go here in the chat here 1 second.
You know it's true.
Oh, it sure is? Okay. Well, how about I do it? Okay, let's.
How about that? Oh God. It's always the need. All right, guys. So our next topic of discussion, since I'm here in the good old, she's back,
and I'm back.
All right, hey girl, hey.
That was me.
It was you.
Was that me the whole time?
Yeah, girl. It's you, girl.
That's that Samsung. That's that Samsung. I have.
And now she's frozen. I can't. All right, guys. So our next topic of Denise, are you frozen, unfrozen? What's going on?
No, we're good.
You good?
I can hear you and see you very clearly.
But you froze for a moment.
Welcome. All right, let's go to the chat. What do we have in our chat?
They're laughing at you being we can't hear you and you frozen. And they can hear me and not you, and yeah, that.
Okay. I'm so sorry, everybody. Listen, sometimes it's a little bit of technology, and that's what I think. I've got way too many devices on right now, and I'm trying to keep up with the news. It's just I really need to stop watching the news. Well, but one of the things I was gonna say about voting, going back to voting itself and voter suppression, voter intimidation, people make sure that you report it as well. Those of you that choose to really decide you want to go out there and wait till Tuesday and vote. As we can see around the country, remember, like for example, we just saw a whole bunch of mini militia surrounding Biden's bus and drove him almost off the road, and to where that they couldn't even participate in their rally that they had. And so and we're talking about this is people being emboldened by the current leadership of this country and that is an act of terrorism. I don't care what nobody says. That's terrorism. When you outnumber the police 50 cars to 1, that's how you outnumber the police. That's terrorism. And you telling me, and also that's interfering with elections. So how are you telling me that this is acceptable in this country? So understand something. Let me tell you what I saw. Let me witness with my own eyes rolling through East Tampa. It ain't rolling in no regular police cars. They got paddy wagons rolling through now. So they're preparing themselves to snatch up groups of people. So what happened to the little 1 and 2-seater police car? What happened to that? Why am I seeing whole entire paddy wagon trucks marked police across the side? Y'all rolling whole forensics trucks through the neighborhood. What is that? Intimidation? Forensics is what shows up after people got killed. Why are you rolling that through the neighborhood?
After they got killed?
Yeah, because that's what the forensics truck is for. Killed. So how the forensics trucks rolling? Ain't nobody shot yet. Are y'all preparing to shoot somebody? Look, listen, people. I ain't saying I was upset. Well, yes, I want to say I was upset. I was a little upset how disrespectful y'all was about that toilet paper when we first got into this pandemic situation. I was a little upset about that, but I ain't gonna be mad at you right now. Please go get your supplies. I got 9 cases of water already. I'm stocking up. I am prepared for the long haul, just in case this sucker go a little left. Just in case it go, I ain't saying it's gonna go left. I'm just saying, hey, I'm prepared to lock down for about 6 months. That's all I can say about that. I mean, I might eat all these snacks in a week, but I'm telling you, about 6 months, I can hold down. I'm just telling you, it's better to be prepared than to be unprepared and be like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm just basing it off of the fact that we have this much ignorance that we're seeing on the news. They don't pepper spray people. Are we living in the 1950s? You pepper spraying people at a peaceful protest. They weren't even protesting. They were just in line to vote. To vote? That's all they were doing. And you pepper spraying us? So when we rolled the clock back on yesterday for November 1st, we rolled it back to 1940, I guess. That's how far we rolled back. I mean, when we elected, what's her name, to the Supreme Court, we rolled that sucker right on back because, she about to do some flipping in a minute. You might well call her the Handmaid's Tale Supreme Court Justice because, hey, you know what I'm saying? Blessed be the fruit.
Did you say the Handmaid's Tale?
Yeah, blessed be the fruit.
Man.
Blessed be the fruit, man.
I can't with you. I can't. What is our next topic? You done threw me all off.
I'm sorry. We don't have a whole lot of topics tonight. We just want y'all to be safe. Yeah, we really didn't have a whole lot of topics. We just want y'all to be safe, knowing that, listen, Tuesday's election night. We, hope to come back on Sunday and talk to you about how that's going to be after that. And we really just want y'all to just stay focused, stay the course. Know that we are always going to be here for the kids. We always want to see what's right and what's best for our children. And if that's the way our election is going, in terms of what everybody says that they were going to do on the platforms that they say they're running, please continue. And that's what it says. Keep that same energy as after election time. Whether you win or lose, if you're truly about the kids, you'll find a way to continue to work with them. And that's all I really got. April, anything else you want to add?
No, we just want to close out with saying that don't forget that we have launched the Sunshine Education Coalition, which is a collaboration of educators, counselors, and we have several fingers crossed that we will be having some attorneys that will be working with us pro bono on this work that we are prepared to do. Right now, we just completed phase 1, which was educating the community about school to prison pipeline, which in relationship to that, we were educated that there are a lot of Black men in our leadership here in the city of Tampa that do not believe in school to prison pipeline. So we have to be very intentional about our message and our data in order to make sure that when we have the ear of individuals. Mute your phone, Denise. Mute, Denise. We have to be very intentional about the message that we bring forth to people, to include data, to include research-based responses, so that we are very clear on the message that we're bringing forth, because we will not sugarcoat it. We will not water it down. It is what it is. The term is school to prison pipeline. There are four key elements that make up the school to prison pipeline. You can refer to it as parent or community, one and the same. Then there is school, second. Then there's law enforcement. And by the time they reach the state prosecutor's office, it realistically at that point is just trying to put a Band-Aid on the wound that at that point is just preparing them for the expectation that they have funneled into at that point. So we invite all of you all to follow us, to join the group on Facebook, which is the Sunshine Education Coalition. We also refer to it as SEC, as we prepare to launch phase 2. Phase 2 is where we are identifying individuals in the community that are our influencers. That's going to be individuals that are in legislation, lawyers, major organizations that can bring voice to the facts about school to prison pipeline, and then collectively join with us in order to identify how we can collectively change or shift the narrative here for our children here in Hillsborough County Public Schools, where we lead the school to prison pipeline for the state of Florida. So yeah, there has to be some facts behind it. If the ACLU, but then they say they children were okay. So yeah, let's go ahead and just make sure that we follow us and make sure we keep up with that information. And again, school to prison pipeline is real. It's very real. It's a nationwide issue. So therefore, I believe that being that it's impacted our Black males the most, and the way society have created this picture for them, that they feel that the majority are going to end up in prison or dead anyway. I think that might be why we don't want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it. As Denise said, that women to charge in scenarios like this. We're natural nurturers, we're mothers, we're parents, we're teachers, and in the end, we're women, and that's what we do. So I am April Carr with April's Beauty Bar.
I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas.
And we're diversity
and
in
equity
education.
in education.
And we're hosted by Teacher for the Culture with Bianca Gooseby. Y'all have a great week. Be safe out there. Don't get caught up in the crazy. Pay attention to your surroundings, because these people acting real interesting. And when they act interesting, you have a choice to walk away. Walk away, because it's not worth your life, because you don't know what it is they may have on them as far as a firearm or some type of item to bring harm to you. Just walk away. Words don't hurt. Now, if they run up on you, though,
what?
I'm just saying, though, y'all have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.